So what do you believe makes an accreditation process successful?
Okay. Well, part of that is not under the control of the university. It's the standards and criteria that are in effect at the time of the accreditation by the accrediting board. But of course, the institution needs to have familiarity with that. They need to have staff on hand who are familiar with accreditation processes. And they need to have appropriate resources dedicated to doing the self-study. It often is the case that one person gets the brunt of the work, but the most successful self-studies are the ones that are done collaboratively by a program that get more people engaged, because when the self-study team comes to visit, they can tell if it's largely been the work of one person or if truly the whole program is engaged in the process.
Okay, so we've somewhat already talked about this, but what strategies would you say would be the most effective when it comes to the ability for international institutions to ensure that they have appropriate accreditation for their programs? Because we've seen in some cases where it can take like somewhat between several months to even like over a year to gain that accreditation.
Mm-hmm. Yes, institutions do have to prepare for accreditation and have to have on staff continuing support for that accreditation. So there are certainly essentials in terms of staffing and in terms of how the university provides resources and provides release time for programs to engage in accreditation and types of support. Sending staff to accrediting agency conferences and convenings so they get familiar with the processes. The other strategy involves deciding what types of accreditation, because there are choices. A program accreditation can go through a particular country's board, but there are also international boards that handle accreditation. So in engineering, for example, there is a very legitimate international board, as well as in the U.S., the ABET, Association Board for Engineering and Accreditation Board for Engineering and Technology, that in any other country they can decide which one to use, depending on how it accommodates their context, because there are large differences in the context across countries.